Hello students, welcome back to English language class. So today we will go for the supplementary reader, the Vistas and chapter 4. So students, once again I am just reminding you, chapter 2 the Tiger King and chapter 3 the journey to end of the earth is being deleted. So today we are here with the 4th chapter, the Enemy, and it's written by Pearl S. Buck. So now students, on the screen you can see about the author. So Pearl S. Buck, in her lifetime she had contributed a lot in literature, and for her the work she has been honored by the Pulitzer Prize, and she is also the Nobel Prize winner. And as far as a human she is concerned, she believes in brotherhood and equality. So these qualities, that is the brotherhood and equality that is being reflected in many of her stories. So today we will see how this brotherhood and equality is reflected in this story. So students, now on the screen you might be seeing the introduction, and below I have written part 1. Because this chapter is quite a lengthy chapter, though it is a supplementary. In the previous when I was doing the very first chapter, that time also I told you that supplementary reader is also equally important. We have to do it in a detailed way, because short question comes in between the text. So unless and until you read it, the entire chapter, or if you understand the entire chapter thoroughly, then only you can answer. So for your better understanding, I have just divided the chapter in part 1 and part 2. So today students will go with the part 1, and just introduction about the story. So this story, it highlights how a Japanese doctor saves the life of an American prisoner of war and rises above the narrow national prejudice. He risks his honor, career, position and life by sheltering a war prisoner of the enemy camp and saving his life. The author has beautifully portrayed the conflict in the doctor's mind as a private individual and as a citizen with a sense of national loyalty. So students, in this chapter the writer has very beautifully portrayed the main character. And as far as just now I told, she believes in equality and brotherhood. So that means what, in her stories the human values are given more important. So here also we see in the story for the doctor how the human values that matters a lot when compared to all the other things. So that's that much about the introduction, and later on we will go for the detailed part of the story. So now students, on the screen now you can see about the setting. So the story takes place on the coastal town of Japan in the year 1941, when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. A war going on between America and Japan. Japanese were hostile, the Americans, and ready to kill the American found in their soil. So as the story is being set during the war time. So now students, the theme of the story, because in literature every the story, it contains a theme, it contains a moral or something we learn about the story. So what is the theme in this chapter? So the enemy gives a message that humanism transcends all man-made prejudice and barriers. Dr. Sadao upholds the ethics of medical profession in treating an enemy. The story is a great lesson of peace, love, sympathy, fellow feeling and humanism. So all these qualities that is being reflected in the story. So that is the main theme. So now before going to the main chapter, let me aware you of the main characters. So the very first character here on the screen, now we can see Dr. Sadao Hoki, a Japanese doctor trained by Americans. Trained by Americans, it simply means that he studied in America. Sadao's father, much concerned about his son's education, a true patriot. Hana, wife of Dr. Sadao, met in America, became friends and got married in Japan. Tom, an American prisoner of war, a soldier of US Navy. And one more important character in the story is the old general. In the story, he is being shown as a sick person, a sick Japanese army general, needed an operation, trusted only Dr. Sadao. Next, an officer, a messenger of the general, and gardener, an old gardener in the house of Dr. Sadao. So, this gardener, he was there in Dr. Sadao's house right from the time of Dr. Sadao's father. So, that means what? He is a very old gardener. And the next one, that is Yumi, she is also the housemaid, and she was looking after Hana's children. And the other person, they were the cook, an old cook in the house of Dr. Sadao. So, this cook also, students, in the story, he too was in Dr. Sadao's house right from the time of Dr. Sadao's father. So, that is all, students, about the main characters. I hope you might have got some glimpse, or you might have brushed up your the mind, with the main characters. So, now we shall proceed to the main story. So, on the screen, students, now you can see the synopsis. So, here under the synopsis you will just hear the story. So, when the lesson begins, in your text, the writer introduces the main character of the story and the characters, the childhood. So, the main character, just now as I told you, he is none other than Dr. Sadao Hockey. So, Dr. Sadao Hockey, his house, it was located near the Japanese sea coast, and as it was by the side of the sea coast, it was bit low and it was made of stone, and it was set on a rocky beach. And just in front of their house, there were many pine trees which served as the boundary of their house. And this is the place, or this is the house, where Sadao spent his childhood. So, as a child, Dr. Sadao, he used to climb the pine trees. So, later on, when he though he was a child, but when he grew up little bit, he used to go to his father, go along with his father to the coast, to the south coast. So, in the south coast, whenever he accompanied his father, he went there, he also used to see the similar things. The men, they were climbing the coconut trees to get the coconuts. And as far as his father is concerned, whenever he went to the south coast, he used to point out towards his son that the other side, that is the stepping stone for the Japanese. So, in those days, as Dr. Sadao was a child, he was not able to understand why his father is saying that beyond the island is their future. So, he used to ask some childish questions, that where is the future. So, Sadao's father, he used to say that nobody, there is no limit to the future, and moreover, the future depends on the person, or how one shape their future. So, these are all the things that his father always used to tell to his son. And as far as Sadao is concerned, he just retained all those things in his mind. And he also very well, in the text it is been portrayed that his father is somewhat a serious natured person. He never used to joke with his children, or nor he used to play with his children, that is with Dr. Sadao. And as far as Sadao's father is concerned, he was very much concerned about his education. So that is why at the age of 22 he sent Sadao to America to learn medicine and surgery. And later on this Sadao, he studied in America for 8 years, and when he came back he was at the time age 30 years, and finally he became a surgeon and a scientist. So as far as Dr. Sadao's father is concerned, before his death his ambition was fulfilled, because he just wanted to see his son to be a great doctor, a surgeon. So he not only became a surgeon, but also he became a scientist. And in those days, he was just perfecting some solution which can clear the wounds thoroughly, because it was the war time, and every time so many the armies and the army people they used to come wounded and all. So all the time cleaning and doing the work, it was bit difficult. So that's why he was perfecting some discovery which can clean the wounds very thoroughly. So later on he became a very successful doctor, and he stayed there. And as I told you, in those days, as it was a war time, almost many of the doctors with the warring troops, with one group of the army, they were being sent to the different places. But as far as Dr. Sadao is concerned, he was not sent anywhere. Why? The reason is that, one was that at that time the old general, he was undergoing some ailment, and at any time he needs some emergency operation. And as far as the general is concerned, he only trusts Dr. Sadao. So that is why Dr. Sadao was not sent with the army troop, he stayed there in America. And later on we see in the story that as Dr. Sadao, as he was standing in front of the that is the house which is just by the side of the sea coast. So he was just lost in his own thoughts, and moreover he was just waiting for his wife Hannah's arrival. So in the lesson we see that it was somewhat a misty day, as the days are very warm, and the nights the sea waves as their house was in front of the sea. So the sea waves were a bit cold, and due to which some the mist used to form. So when he was standing there, and after some time his wife also accompanied him, both of them, they were lost in their own pleasant thoughts and all. And for a short moment Dr. Sadao felt that how lucky he is to have Hannah to be his wife, because he met her in America. Though when he saw her, he just started liking her, or we can say that he just fell in love with her, but he did not express his love unless and until he unless and until he ensured that she is an Japanese, because he was well versed with his father, and his father he will never ever allow any other the people to be their daughter-in-law. We can say that Sadao's father was a true the patriot. So in the meantime as they were lost in their own thoughts, and he also remembered about that is the Professor Hartley's house, because it was their house where these two people met one another. And as far as the Professor Hartley is concerned, though he was an American, but he used to be he used to support the country, the students. And on that very particular day we can say that Sadao, he accepted the invitation and he went to that Hartley's house. It is only because the house where he lived, it was a bit small, the rooms were a bit small, and moreover the landlady was very talkative. He did not like that idea. So that is why to spend some time, he just went there, went to that very particular Hardley's house where they both of them met. So now the students on the screen, now you can see about the challenge. So now the story proceeds. What is the challenge which Dr. Sadao is going to face. So just now, as I told, as Dr. Sadao and his wife Hana, they were spending some pleasant time and thinking about the past. So outside the environment was somewhat misty, we can say that, means the visibility was not clear. So in the meantime, what happened? They saw that something means outline like a human figure. It was just washed off in the shore and it was just proceeding to the offshore. So the moment means Sadao saw that one, he identified that yes, it is a human being, but in order to have a close look, he just went towards his that is the veranda, and from there he tried to identify means who it is. So his wife, she also accompanied him, and from that veranda it was not clear, but anyhow they saw that means some human being, he was trembling and he is not able to walk very steadily, time and again means falling down and moving. So they just came down to the shore and wanted to see who that the person is. So when they saw that, yes, as I told you, it was somewhat misty, means the atmosphere was, the visibility was not clear. So they understood that yes, somebody, some person is very badly wounded. So now how they come to know that he is badly wounded? Because as this man, he was lying on the means the sand, side by one can see the blood stains. So by the blood stains, Sadao understood that he is being wounded and bleeding very badly. So Dr. Sadao, he is a great surgeon. So the very first thought that struck his mind is to give him the first aid. Though at that time he was not having any means that is the medicine with him, but then also with the available resource. What was the resource at that time? As that the body, the person was lying by the side of the sand. It was a rocky area, I told. So naturally, on the sea, over the rocks and all, mosses were there. So what he did was that he just scraped some mosses and applied over the wounds. So the moment he applied the mosses over the wounds, on the spot itself, the blood, it stopped. So now he thought that yes, at least some treatment, something was being done to save this man. So later on, after some time, when he just, as this man was lying upside down, so when they turned that man, they saw that yes, he was very fair. So that means what? He is an white man, and white man means American, and Americans are the enemy to the Japanese. So at that moment, means both this Sadao and Hana, they did not like the idea this man is a white man. He is a man, who belongs to the enemy country. But as a doctor, because in the beginning I told he gives more importance to the human, the values. So as a doctor, what he means thinks about this man. For him, he is a wounded person, not an American. So his first and the foremost job is to treat this man. So that's why now they made up, means in the first thought was that in case if he save this man, or if he treat this man, what will happen. So that's why they doesn't want to take this man to their house. And the best thing is what, now as the blood did not the flow, it stopped. So for a moment this Sadao, he just questioned and answered himself, the best thing is to throw this man once again back into the sea. So later on, after some time, when he expressed this idea to his wife Hana, Hannah also agreed to that one. Yes, she also said that yes, because in case if they take this man to their house, they will be in danger. So, it is better to throw this man once again into the water. So, what I want to say is that both of them time and again they are exchanging the words, that is to throw the man into the water, but both of them by their means the physical appearance and all one can say that they did not even move their hands. They were just they stood still and they were staring at the wounded man. So, they did not throw him. And moreover, Dr. Sadao thought that in case if he take this man to his house and in case if he is being treated or if he is being treated, then what is the use for him? Because he will be bound to hand him over to the police, and naturally in the prison he will die. And on the other side, in case if he hide this reality from the state, then he will be a traitor, and that will stake the position of him as a surgeon and also his children. Though they were very small, but their future will be spoiled because they might be called as the children of a traitor, which he does not want to do it. So, that is why what they did was that both of them, though unwillingly, because as he belonged to the enemy group and they are also very much curious about the servants, what the servants will speak about in case if they take a white man to their house. So, now anyhow both of them made their mind to take this man to their house and give him the treatment and later on hand him over to the police or to the army, Japanese army. So, when Sadao asked that what they will say to their servants in case if they inquire who that person is. So, Hannah told that she will tell all the servants that they have brought this man to their house just to treat him because he is very severely wounded. So, once he is well enough, then they will hand him over to the police. So, both of them decided, and after that they took this, they lifted this, that is the inert figure without any movement, he was just lying down. So, before carrying this man, though they knew that this man is a foreigner, but then also Hannah was very much curious to know that this man actually belongs to which country. So, Sadao went and once again had a close look as he was having one very a torn or a very old that cap was there, hat was there. So, that one it just fell down, and as he was washed off by the shore for the past so many days. So, though the visibility was not clear, but anyhow one can identify that on the cap it was written US Navy. So, that means what? Now, they were damn sure that this man belongs to America. So, now when they lifted this man, what Sadao is saying that he was very, the writer portraits in such a way that he was very light in weight. He is being compared to that of a hen, and that hen also which is not fed for the past so many days, it is just it lost all the flesh and it is having only the skin. So, they took this man to their house and proceeded towards their the empty room, that was Sadao's father's room. And Sadao's father, we can say that he was a typical or a very true patriot. He does not in his house also room one can see all the things to the Japanese taste. So, that is why today Hannah little bit hesitated to take the man to that very particular room, but anyhow there was no other room. So, they just took the man to that Sadao's father room. There on the bed he was being laid on, and after some time it was that as he was totally washed off in the shore and all the entire body was very sandy and very dirt. So, now the first thing was that as a doctor, so he thought of first cleaning all means the entire body should be cleaned, then only he will decide what to do with this man. So for that purpose what they did, as far as Hannah is concerned, she doesn't like her husband to that is to clean the clean a person who belongs to the enemy group. So that's why what she did was that she told that yes, now she will call her maid Yumi and she will come and wash. So when this Yumi was being called at that time, means the Yumi, she did not like the idea of their master serving, and that is a person who belonged to the Japanese, and she just reacted in a different way. Her reaction, it was reflected on the face. So by that Hannah, she just read that she was not willing, but anyhow Hannah also felt a bit means irritated, we can say that, as being a servant she is not listening to the master. So that's why she told that what your master has ordered you, you just go and bring the hot water and keep it in that room. So she came with a wooden bucket and means they left the hot water and went off. So now it was the time for Hannah, as Sadav was not there, he just went outside the room. So Hannah, she just cleaned the wounds, means the one part of the body for the first time, and she feels that when she studied at that time she was in America, but now after so many years she was never been in contact with any of the Americans. So today also she doesn't like it, but she was supposed to do as her husband has told her. So she cleaned that the one side of the body, and in the meantime Sadav, he entered the room and he cleaned the other part, and after some time what he did, he just stretched the sterilized towel and over that all the surgical instruments. So now it was a time for him to do the surgery. So as far as Hannah is concerned, she doesn't means though she studied the degree of the doctor's course, but practically she never did anything. So that's why today also she was bit hesitant in performing the operation, but he just told her, means the wife, to give anesthesia to that person. So at that moment Hannah, she was very much scared, because never ever she has practically given anesthesia to anyone. But as far as Dr. Sadav's instruction, she just followed the instruction and gave anesthesia to that person. And in the meantime while means when he was doing the operation, so though this Hannah was also there in the room, but what she did was that she used to just converse with him. As far as this Sadav is concerned, his work, means whenever he used to do his work, he used to be very much means fixed to the task, because he remembered about the professor of anatomy in America. He used to tell them that if a doctor if he is not aware of the persons, and means that is a human body and in case if he is performing the operation, that means what, he is that person the doctor is a murderer. So that's why he doesn't want to split his means concentration, and he did the operation, and very successfully he had taken out the bullet. So now the man is without means though the bullet was taken out, but still he is under unconscious. So he was lying down on the bed, and while as a doctor whenever he used to do the operation, he used to call the patient as friends, but today he was not a friend, he is an enemy. So now the students, now in front of him, the last means on the screen you can see that though he saved the life of the prisoner, he fed the prisoner and he just asked him to rest for some time so that he can recover, but on the other side he was very much anxious about his future. So well student, that's all in the first part of the story, and for the second part we will go in the next class. So now students, you just have a worksheet, you just to do the questions what is reflected on the screen.